Hi, everyone. Patty Fields here, sharing another channeled message that I received to help us in these turbulent times that we are experiencing. I posted a video that you might want to check out that goes along with this video, and it is the one it's entitled "You're Not Broken, You're Awakening." And it was a channeled message I received about what to do when you are feeling deeply these intense emotions that are going on in the world right now for many of us. And the message was quite shocking. And it had to do with this idea of leaving one level of consciousness and experiencing another level of consciousness as a way of healing or releasing our pain. After I did that video, I had a dream message come through. And what I love about dream messages is how the spirit uses these symbols for me to convey a message. And I have, as you know, in dreams, you have a real experience of it as if it's happening in real life. And experience is a wonderful teacher. This dream is helpful for us to understand about what that means when we are given the idea of raising our vibration or going to another level of consciousness. What does that mean exactly? And how do we do that? How do we do that? So, what I'm going to do is share the dream and then I'm going to talk about some of the messages. So, please stay tuned till the end. You will be hearing some very helpful information for your own journey and to help you when you are in the 3D level of consciousness, where we experience the duality of things. We experience the black and white, we experience the good and the bad, the joy and the sorrow, the pain and the happiness or pain and freedom or something like that. So in this dream, it begins when I am in a room that I would now say represents the 3D world. And this room is dim. It's a little on the dark side. It's not, I don't feel darkened. It's kind of like being in a room that doesn't have a lot of light. In this room, I'm with these people that I know and that I love, and we're a community together. And I see off in the distance, off of one of the walls, there's a threshold, a door, and if you walk through that door, it's like a landing from some stairs. So if you walked under in the within the door and you look up, there's some stairs, but you can't see who's coming down the stairs. So I'm watching this door, and a friend, this friend of mine comes into the room, and I know that she has come from upstairs down to my level. Now, we all know that this friend has died. But when I see her, she is, she died of an illness. This was in real life, and she died of an illness in real life. But in the dream, she has died and she has come to visit us. And she's radiant, just radiant. Her eyes are sparkling, and she's younger, maybe in her 30s or something like that. And she's just you just want to be with her. She just radiates this peace. And we're chatting with her, talking with her, and we're so grateful that we have this time with her, that she's come to visit us and be in our world. And as she is leaving and going back up the stairs, I desperately don't want her to leave. Please, please, please don't leave. And she turns to me, and I say to her, I was desperate to say to her, I'm so sorry if there is ever anything that I did to hurt you. And the pain that I felt in my heart about that regret. And I didn't know if there was anything I did. There wasn't anything I remembered that I did. but we had lost touch over the years. And so without talking to her, I didn't know. But I was just saying, like, a blanket apology. I'm so sorry if I did anything to hurt you. And she looked at me and she just looked at me as if there was nothing that you did. And our eyes locked, and I was feeling like I finally got to say what I needed to say to her. And she heard it, and there was this don't worry about it kind of thing. And I felt a lifting, a freedom there. So that was a great part of the dream, but it didn't end there. This is the next part that's especially important for us. And the next part of the dream, I'm in, so now this is a building that I'm in, right? And the floor in the in the room that I'm in. And the next thing I know, I had gone out into the hallway of the building, and then I had gone up some stairs, and I entered into an office. But it wasn't your typical office. I walk in, and the room is so different than the other room I was in. It's bright, it has lots of windows, there's lots of natural lighting, there's so many green plants and beautiful flowers. It just felt so welcoming and bright. And I walk in, and there's a woman sitting at a desk. And I said, oh my gosh, thank goodness I found you. Um, I want to repair a bracelet that I have. And I start to tell her, so this office is, I know that it belongs to a psychic. Now, this woman is somebody who works for this psychic. And I had been searching and searching and searching to try to get to this office. And I say to the woman, oh my gosh, I realized that this room, what I had been searching for, was right above me. It was right where I was. And I didn't know that I was already there and I was already in the building. I said, in fact, at one point, I was out in the parking lot making a phone call to your office, staring at the building that you were in, but I didn't know it. I thought you were far away and I had to drive to you. And I was laughing about, oh my gosh, it was here all along and I didn't even know. And she said, yes, I was sending you telepathic messages to tell you that I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm right here. And she said, isn't that great? You finally got the message and here you are. And then we go and we sit next to this. There's this couch with these beautiful plants and everything. Now I know she's kind of like an assistant. And there's this really great, amazing psychic that is owns this office, but she's not there. And the woman says, isn't this interesting? She says, we're we're both really psychic. We're both psychic. And meaning it's not just the one who we think is psychic. She said, we are psychic and we just demonstrated that. And that was the end of the dream. So the message that I received from that I'd like you to have a takeaway with is it was very clear to me that the levels of consciousness is not somewhere we go. It's not somewhere we travel to. It's not somewhere we have to get directions for and seek and find and, the how to's and all of that. It was the desire to be there. And it was the telepathic messaging that was going on that comes from the realm of the, let's call it 5D, for better, for lack of a better term. Many people understand what 5D is. So in the 5D world, that sort of spirit guidance is sending us telepathic messages like like a beacon, like ET. It's like, I'm right here, come to where I am. And I thought that my searching and my calling and trying to get directions, trying to figure out where this place was, that was important, but that wasn't important. What really got me into that office was the telepathic messages that I was picking up. And then once I was there, it was this realization, and we were joking about it. It was oh my gosh, it was right here. It was right here the whole time. Isn't that amazing? So the message about going into the 5D or being in the realm where there is love and peace and joy and guidance and solutions to our problems and connection and all the things that we're searching for and seeking are right where we are and to be there, to be in that experience of a psychic experience, which psychic just means communication, just communication. You're just communicating past your five senses to the through another sense to be in a realm or a surroundings or an environment which is different than the 3D world. And when you are in there now, I was taking a bracelet to be repaired. And I thought that this was an interesting contrast to me seeking out my friend on the 3D level and asking for forgiveness, really, and expressing my sorrow. And that was a very heartfelt experience and she had descended down into our realm. And I think that can be a very helpful way for to connect to the spirit. And we think of, okay, the spirit comes into our world and connects with us or ones that have crossed over. And through that connection, there can be definitely a healing that can happen. But from that perspective of the upper realm or the 5D where she came from, there is nothing to forgive. I think that's like the she was like, well, you didn't do anything. But in the 3D realm, it feels very dense in there and it feels like, oh my gosh, I did this, I did that. How do I make amends? How do I find that healing for all of that? But in the 5D, I wanted a bracelet, and this bracelet was very precious to me. It was the particular bracelet that had a Buddha on it that I actually own. Um, and it was very precious to me, and I wanted it repaired. And I knew that if I could find myself in this office, that it would be repaired. And so I'd like to just offer that there's nothing wrong with either way of having helpfulness and healing, but the dream was showing me that there's these two ways, and the way of the 5D world and the way to be in that realm of repair, restore, revive, um, this idea of awakening or resurrecting, it, it happens in the 5D world. So if we're struggling with anything, that we can think about focusing in on the realm of the 5D world and bringing our problems, our concerns, our healing, the things that were our pain to the 5D world for healing, for help. And instead of drawing down the spirit into our world, we can access this other world where there is repair, there is healing, there is helpfulness. Um, and the way that we get there, in this idea that we're all psychic, the way that we get there is of desire, just wanting to, just desire. And then the realization that uh, I don't really have to go anywhere. I don't really have to go anywhere. I don't have to figure this out. I don't have to figure this out. And what I wanted to do, I'm a course student. I've been a course student since 2000, A Course in Miracles. And there's a wonderful section in the course about psychic powers. And I just wanted to read a little bit of that because this is a pretty universal idea. Even though the language can be Christian in A Course in Miracles, it's very metaphysical and also Eastern philosophy. So there is a section in the course that talks about psychic powers. And I'm just going to read a couple of lines from this to help you understand that everyone has these powers, everyone has this ability to communicate and be in the realm of spirit. while you're firmly grounded in the 3D world. So this says the question is, are psychic powers desirable? And this says, certainly there are many psychic powers that are clearly in line with this course. Communication is not limited to the small range of channels the world recognizes. If it were, there would be little point in trying to teach salvation. It would be impossible to do so. The limits the world places on communication are the chief barrier to direct experience of the Holy Spirit, whose presence is always there and whose voice is available but for the hearing. So then it goes on to say these seemingly new abilities that many gather on the way can be very helpful. Given to the Holy Spirit and used under his direction, they are very valuable teaching aids. To this, the question of how they arise is irrelevant. The only important consideration is how they are used. Um, it just goes on to say more about how everybody has the ability to communicate with the spirit world. And if you use it to teach you who you really are and who others really are, and all the teaching and the solutions and the repair is to restore our awareness to who we really are. And that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And then you have some examples and expressions of that in the real world. So I invite you to think about this dream message um, and consider that that is something you want to focus on when you are in pain or when you are in distress or when you don't know what to do and you're looking for solutions. Consider the dream and the idea of desiring to go, not go, you know what I mean by go, not like go somewhere, but to be, to be in the experience of the realm of the spirit and bring what is broken, bring what needs repair to that level of consciousness. And that's all you need to do. It's all you need to do. So I hope that's helpful. And again, I'm going to put the link to the other video with the message about levels of consciousness and about you're not broken, you're awakening, because I think they kind of go in tandem. So I think that might be helpful to you. So thanks so much for listening.